And a very good afternoon and warm welcome to all the dignitaries present today in this inaugural session of 6th International Multidisciplinary Research Conference on Women Entrepreneur Development. Myself, Dr. Kanchan Sharma from Manipur Central University, Imphal. I extend my heartiest warmness to my friend Dr. Bless Maricar B. Ramos, International Coordinator, Social Science and Management Welfare Association, Women's Cell, Philippines. In this virtual conference, I have to welcome all of you, and we
There is some technical issue. We wait some time. Okay, no problem. I start this conference. Once again, I welcome all my guests, respected speakers, and all the international personality on this conference. Today, not only Bharat means India, but whole world salute women power. The development of the nation depend upon the development of the women. Okay, ma'am, please continue. Please continue.
Okay, sorry. Today we have very problem of internet. I think now there will be no disturbance. So once again, very good afternoon and warm welcome to all the dignitaries present today in this inaugural social session of 6th International Multidisciplinary Research Conference on Women Entrepreneur Development. Myself, Dr. Kanchan Sharma from Manipur Central University, Imphal.
Okay, no problem. There is some technical issue. So I can start this side. Today, once again, today not only India, but whole world salute women power. The development of the nation depend upon the development of the women. Be proud that in all the field of life, women power we see today. Women Entrepreneurship Development Program have women to stand on their own feet. Schemes like Pradhan Mantri Mudra Yojana, Stand Up India, Startup India, and Self Help Group under the National Rural Development Mission have helped to make women financial secure and independently. Pradhan Mantri Jan Dhan Yojana has also played a critical role in the financial inclusion of the women. आज की इस राष्ट्रीय कॉन्फ्रेंस में जिसमें अंतर्राष्ट्रीय अनेक शोधार्थियों प्रोफेसर जुड़े हैं, जो एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कॉन्फ्रेंस के रूप में हम सबके सामने है, जिसमें हमारा मुख्य उद्देश्य है महिला उद्यमिता को आगे लाना। निश्चित रूप से हम देख रहे हैं केवल भारत ही नहीं, पूरा विश्व आज महिलाओं को सल्यूट कर रहा है और महिला पावर किसी भी देश की विकास में बहुत बड़ा योगदान दे रही है। अगर हम भारत की बात करते हैं तो हम सबको बड़ा गर्व होता है कि आज हमारी फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर भी महिला है। इतना ही नहीं, मध्य प्रदेश के अनेक विश्वविद्यालयों में शिक्षा को अग्रसर करने वाली नई शिक्षा नीति को आगे लाने वाले ऐसे माननीय कुलपति भी हमारे बीच में प्रोफेसर नीलम गुप्ता जी उपस्थित हैं। आप सागर विश्वविद्यालय डॉक्टर हरि सिंह गौर विश्वविद्यालय के माननीय कुलपति हैं। साथ ही हमारे बीच में कुछ देर में प्रोफेसर रेनू जैन मैडम भी उपस्थित होने वाली हैं। आप माननीय कुलपति देवी अहिल्या यूनिवर्सिटी इंदौर की हैं। और साथ ही संपत्ति उइके मैडम जो मेंबर ऑफ पार्लियामेंट राज्यसभा हैं। इतना नहीं, हमारे बीच में डॉक्टर ब्लेश मैडम जो इंटरनेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर वुमेन्स हेल्थ सोशल साइंस एंड मैनेजमेंट वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन की हैं। आज की इस राष्ट्रीय और जो एक अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी के रूप में हम सबके बीच में अंतर्राष्ट्रीय वक्ताओं का भी इस संगोष्ठी में योगदान होने वाला है, जिसका मूल उद्देश्य है महिला सशक्तिकरण और महिला शीलता के विषय में हम सब यहाँ चर्चा करने वाले हैं। अनेक इंटरनेशनल वक्ता हम सब के बीच में रहने वाले हैं और आज की इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय संगोष्ठी जो भारत और विश्व के अनेक महिला विशेषज्ञ के माध्यम से हम एक अच्छा एक प्लेटफॉर्म आज हम सबके बीच में है। तो मैं इस संगोष्ठी को आगे बढ़ाते हुए मैं हमारे इंटरनेशनल कोऑर्डिनेटर डॉक्टर ब्लेस मैम से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा कि वो आप अपना विषय रखें। डॉक्टर ब्लेस मैम, प्लीज स्टार्ट योर स्पीच।
Okay, so good afternoon. Thank you very much. It is again my pleasure to be part of this research conference on women entrepreneur development, as I am again given an opportunity to share some thoughts in empowering women entrepreneurs. Of course, I would just like to give my special thanks to Dr. Vishwakarma and the Social Science and Management Welfare Association for again inviting me in this conference. Dr. Devendra, I have requested, sir, for somebody to assist me in my presentation of the PPT because I don't have my
Hello,
laptop with me today.
am I audible? Hello, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
ma'am.
ma'am.
Yes.
Oh, sorry. Today we have some internet problem. May I continue?
No, okay, ma'am. No problem. Dr. Blaise, ma'am, is started. Madam is started. Please, Blaise, ma'am, please continue.
Okay, ma'am, please continue.
Okay. Dr. Devendra, I have requested a while ago for the assistance of the presentation of my PowerPoint. Did somebody get my PowerPoint, a PowerPoint presentation, Doctor? I have sent through WhatsApp this morning. Okay. If somebody cannot assist me, I'm not just going to use my PowerPoint for this presentation, but again, let me start this with, okay. So since our topic for this morning is about women entrepreneur development, I will be talking about empowering women entrepreneurs. Okay, let me start this with giving some definition on the term entrepreneurship. And when we talk about entrepreneurship, it is said to be a multi-level and complex phenomenon that gained importance in the global economy as a result of changes in work contents, employee qualifications, including psychological contracts in the employment field. Okay, so we all know that entrepreneurship contributes much to the economic growth as it is as it actually conveys new or existing knowledge build power, and it creates value out of this knowledge. Okay, so the rise of the female entrepreneurship is considered as a significant economic and social development in the world for the following two reasons. Okay, number one, female entrepreneurship is an important source of economic growth in creating new jobs, and by being genetically different, that means women provide unique and different solutions to management and business issues. And second, female entrepreneurship has been neglected, particularly in business research. Okay, so let us try to face this reality in the entrepreneurial field that there is no equal footing of opportunity for women and men in the short range, and the progress towards its achievement could be actually facilitated by better understanding the impact of female entrepreneurship on society and, of course, its contribution to the economic growth. Let us try to better understand what is entrepreneurial activity. Let's take note of the following. Okay, so when we say entrepreneurial activity, it is a calculated risk-taking and continuing process of innovation activities that exemplify discovery, assessment, and of course, even the abuse of opportunities, ruling of the possibilities and making decisions in an identified uncertainty within a rapidly changing environment by using the spillover of knowledge. Okay, Dr. Nick, you are presenting my PPT, sir. Could you please go to slide number 4? And I continue, sir. Slide number 4, sir. Okay, thank you. So let me continue. There is really a need to empower women entrepreneurs, especially in developing countries like the Philippines and India. Okay, women's economic empowerment interventions at present are not really enough to overcome all difficulties and hindrances faced by female entrepreneurs. The initial evidence from psychology and experimental economics on agency, mindset, and leadership show that for a successful intervention to be transformative, they need to move beyond basic access to financial and human capital and also tackle central social, psychological, and skills limitations of women entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Okay. Though there are emerging indications from recent studies on different capital-based, training-based, and even gender-based interventions using randomized controlled trials present promising interventions to support women entrepreneurs. Next slide, please. Okay, an experimental study which was conducted in Uganda found that providing financial capital, that is subsidized microcredit coupled with start and improve your business training module, while effective for men, does not have any impact on female-owned enterprise profits. Likewise, a randomized control trial on Tanzania's Business Women Connect program found that while the mobile savings program substantially increased savings, it did not have an effect on female-owned enterprise profits or sales, even when combined with hard business skills like business management, basic profitability concepts, and even record keeping. However, the two studies show that loans corresponding with business trainings as well as improved access to mobile savings account coupled with business trainings had a positive impact on male-owned microenterprise profits or sales. Consequently, a successful women's economic empowerment intervention needs more than only access to financial capital and hard business skills. Okay. On the other hand, a randomized field experiment on Nicaragua's Small Business of the Family Economy program found that business trainings importantly increase self-employed men and women's real income, but with a higher impact on women. This impact could be due to the nature of the training program itself, and the program not only provided production techniques, it did not only provide business organization and administrative skills, but also had talks about creation of business plans, networking, establishment of virtual stores, and access to new market components. So significantly, men and women entrepreneurs face inherently different constraints, including psychological and cultural factors. Next slide, please. On female entrepreneurs, they do not have access to financial and human capital actually, which hinders business growth, have different mindset constraints such as risk aversion, and have not caught up in soft skills like leadership. So in addition to that, women have culturally imposed constraints that psychologically and physically impede their independence, including their aspiration and priorities in life. Thus, the success of female entrepreneurs depend on their personal traits and, let us just say, entrepreneurial skills, and how supportive institutions and stakeholders address or work around these major constraints. Okay, next slide, please. So, to truthfully empower women, policymakers need to address these restrictions, like what Andrea Cornwall said, a leading anthropologist from the University of Sussex, proposes two elements of change. Okay, so first, consciousness needs to be shifted, overturning internalized constraints and aspirational barriers that keep women in situations or subordination. And second, cultural beliefs about gender and power must be actually challenged. There is really a need to shift in consciousness and mindset, as in comparison to men, many disadvantaged female micro-entrepreneurs suffer from mindset constraints. In a laboratory experiment, after financial capital and basic business training interventions are done, women still engage in fewer competitive scenarios than men do. This kind of thinking actually hinders incomes and overall development of business performance. The laboratory experiment looking at mindset constraints found that with the same intervention, which actually taught soft skills around entrepreneurial characters such as long-term view and orientation in business, okay, self-confidence, and that should also include managing people, men not constrained in this way saw a significant increase in sales. Next slide, please. Okay, so significantly, some business training programs specifically set out to shift mindsets found a positive impact on females. Okay, so for instance, a personal initiative training program in Togo, which is actually run by the World Bank's Gender Innovation Laboratory, offered psychology-based mindset training for both male and female business owners. Okay, so the soft skills, including self-starting behaviors, including innovation, identifying and even exploiting new opportunities, goal setting, planning, and feedback cycles, and overcoming obstacles. The training program found business performance improvements for both male and female enterprises. And interestingly, the main effect of the training on women seemed to be an increase in women's personal initiative. So in addition to that, the effect on women's soft skills post-training held constant regardless of education level, of course, with slight differentiations along training background. So the labor market studies also find that mindset interventions prove effective by either instilling aspirations or shifting perceptions of labor market opportunities, whether in formal employment or self-employment. Next slide, please. A study in Ethiopia also showed that a 1-hour video for rural farmers showing successful peers was effective in shifting future-oriented behaviors. Another study in India that provided information to rural women on job opportunities for them in the outsourcing industry led to more education, lower discharge fertility, and higher likelihood of entering the job market. So in short, for interventions to become successful, Basic business skills should be provided, including basic financial capital. Soft skills like leadership and mindset should be considered. Okay. Let programs address or work around socially imposed gender roles, increase female understanding of inhibiting normative assumptions. Finally, a clear measure of success is actually important also. Okay, knowing the basic technical business training programs help improve business practice of women-owned enterprises. Next slide, please. Okay, so significant progress in the business performance of empowerment should be taken seriously, as some interventions meaningfully improve the economic and subjective well-being of female entrepreneurs.
Excuse me, may I read this?
Empowerment hinges on the longevity and effectiveness of program interventions and on continuous policy commitment to inclusion and, of course, even equality for women. For that, okay, next slide, please. The last slide. Okay, so for that, thank you very much for listening to this talk. Again, thank you very much, Social Science and Management Welfare Association and Dr. Davendra, for this yet another opportunity to share my knowledge again. Good afternoon, everyone.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you from the core of my heart to my friend Dr. Bliss Marikar for gearing up the program. And I am very sorry that I got disturbance through internet. So sometimes it happens.
Yeah.
I'm welcome once again in this virtual conference.
You are
We
always
have chief guests today in our inaugural session. I welcome our chief guest, Honorable Professor Nilima Gupta, Vice Chancellor Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya, Sagar, Madhya Pradesh, India. I welcome our chief guest, Honorable Professor Renu Jain, Vice Chancellor Devi Ahilya University, Indore, Madhya Pradesh, India. I extend my warmness to Honorable Sampatya Uike, Member of Parliament, Rajya Sabha, India. Today we have 3 guest lecture also in this session. All of them are well-known figure and associated with women entrepreneurship. I welcome Dr. Elizabeth Lukas Afolalu, woman and relationship and mindset mentor, inspirational speaker, director of Yes You Can International, United Kingdom, and member of International Social Science and Association also. I welcome our guest and speaker, Praksha Oswal, Director, Sri Mahila Grih Udyog, Lijjat Papar, Jabalpur, Madhya Pradesh, India. I welcome guest and speaker, Dr. Bendale, in charge, Principal of BVDU, New College and Dean, New Law College and Dean, Faculty of Law, Bharati Vidyapeeth, DIMD University, Pune. And thanks for bearing the inconvenience with me. I must welcome once again for all of you and must thanks for your patience. See, if women empowerment means economical self-reliance, then I don't coincide with that. If women empowerment means equality of rights among men and women, then also I disagree with that. If you are speaking about protection, existence, and identity of...
Dr. Ma'am, I request, please, respected Professor Neelam Gupta ma'am, Vice Chancellor Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya already joined this conference. I request, please, you request ma'am, because ma'am, today ma'am, a lot of program, please ma'am.
Yeah, of course, it's my duty. Welcome ma'am, and please address with your valuable voice.
Thank you
Dr.
very much.
Neelam Gupta, ma'am.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure indeed to be a part of this Social Science and Management Welfare Association, Women Cell Organized Youth Economics Association, a radiant group of institutions, Jabalpur, who has organized the 6th International Multidisciplinary Research Conference on Women Entrepreneur Development. So I see a number of renowned persons who are here. Of course, my friend, Professor Renu Jain, who is the Vice Chancellor of Devi Ahilya University, Indore. We just heard Dr. Bless Marikar, B. Ramos from Philippines, who gave us some very valuable information regarding women entrepreneurs. Dr. Narmeen Mohammed, Kamal Shalabi from Egypt, Dr. Praksa Oswal, who is the director of Shri Mahila Graha Udyog, Dr. Ujjwala S. Bendale, who is the in-charge principal of BVDU, New Law College and Dean Faculty of Law from Pune. And I see a number of good panelists also who are present here, and a number of other women entrepreneurs who are joined here to this meet on this very interesting program on women entrepreneurs. So I feel that when we talk about women entrepreneurs, and it has become very essential today to discuss this topic, because if we are all, I think we had the first wave of COVID-19, we had the second wave of COVID-19, and now we are going through the third wave. But here we have seen how women, they stand in front of the COVID-19 crisis as healthcare workers, caregivers, innovators, community organizers, and some of the most exemplary and effective national leaders in combating the pandemic. But why is it that we find that till today we have to take up the flagship of women entrepreneurship? Because of this generation equality campaign, and we talk about gender equality, and it is being said every decade. We say that when it was 2010, we said that we will get gender equality by 2020. Today we are saying that we'll be having gender equality by 2030. But it is very surprising that no country in the world has achieved gender equality till date. In fact, legal restrictions have kept about 2.7 billion women from accessing the same choice of jobs as men. Why is it? That is my biggest question, because I think many of the teachers are present here, vice chancellors are present here, faculty members who are present here. Every year when we look into the results of our students, we find that the girls, they always outnumber the boys. And if you just see the data, because I was earlier in Kanpur University, and after that Bhagalpur University, and now I'm in Sagar University. In all the universities, I found that during the convocations, the number of girls who were receiving the gold medals was always higher, not only higher, much, much higher than that of boys. Then what happens? Today we talk about entrepreneurship, or we talk about leadership. Where do these girls go? So we have some very interesting data. In fact, I have one presentation also. I do not know whether it's we can just go to all. I think we are short of time, so I'll just make a few points from that. Because if we look at the distribution of professors by gender at universities in selected European countries, we find that whereas the number of men as professors, they are above 90% or 80% in different countries. I have data from Austria, Czech Republic, Germany, Ireland, Italy, Norway, Poland, Spain, Sweden. Everywhere we find that the number of men professors far outnumbers the women. And we have, if we try to see, we go to the leadership positions, like vice chancellors in selected Commonwealth countries. Here also we find that the percentage of female vice chancellors is much, much less as compared to the male vice chancellors. We can also have some comparative data on male and female at these leadership situations. Then if we try to analyze the women leaders and as better financial performance. So we have our finance minister right now. She's also a woman. So why is it that in finances we still feel that the women, they are way below? If we just try to analyze the data, we find that 19% of all leaders are women, 8% of all leaders are high potential women, and 37% of all leaders are women. 12% of all leaders are high potential women. So where are these women going if they have such a high percentage? The percentage of US startups with at least one female founder, we find by the year 2020, I have the latest data for, not for 2021, 2020, which shows about 28% of our women, they are involved in these startups in technology as well as in healthcare. And if we look into the ratio of women leaders, the first woman prime minister in Ceylon, that was way back in 1960 in our country only, Srimati Indira Gandhi. In Australia, the PM, Julia Gillard. United Kingdom, Margaret Thatcher. Germany, Chancellor Angela Merkel. But we see that till date only 44 women leaders out of 196 countries of the world have been occupied by women. So the number is pretty low. So in Indian women, if we talk about presidents of India, 1 out of 14, prime ministers of India, 1 out of 14, judges in the Supreme Court, the number is very, very low. So if we try to see now, this COVID battle has also shown the potential of women. And in this battle, we have found that in many countries, like the Prime Minister of Norway, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, the Prime Minister of Finland, they were all women. And they have done really pretty well. And they have tried to bring out the best amongst us. Female leaders in Denmark, Finland, Germany, Iceland, New Zealand, Norway, Iceland, Finland, Taiwan and New Zealand, they are cited as supporting evidence that women are managing the crisis better than their male counterparts. So is it not true? If we have a look at the Chancellor Angela Merkel's government in Germany, she balanced a variety of data sources and epidemiological models in determining how to fight the coronavirus. So this has been the performance. We have more effective leaders. The Taiwanese president, Tsai Ing-wen, New Zealand Prime Minister Ardern, and German Chancellor Angela Merkel, they have all made really done outstanding work. So if we just try to analyze these women leaders and look into their qualities, I find that their performance is greater, their impact is greater, the outreach is more, they can generate more revenue, they can be better achievers, and they have better diversity. But it is only that if we give them proper opportunities to express their leadership qualities or their entrepreneurship qualities, which are resilience, pragmatism, benevolence, trust in collective common sense, mutual aid, and humility, which are some of the very common features for the success of the women leaders. So I do feel that if we try to compare the qualities, feminine qualities and masculine qualities, empathy, compassion, listening, collaboration, they are regarded as feminine qualities, and masculine qualities like managerial, supervisory, controlling power, command and control. So we can compare these qualities. But in fact, today it is a call of the day when female type leadership is required, because there are more challenges today. In the 21st century, we have challenges of climate change, health, environment, the depletion of the earth's resources, the aging population, and the shortage of talent. And this requires resilience, this requires courage, this requires flexibility, this requires listening, empathy, collaboration, caring, and recognition of collective contribution. And all these qualities you find in women, and this becomes the key point of success. These are all characteristics of traditionally feminine management. So I must say that these women entrepreneurs, they are really better performers in all spheres of life. Because if we just try to analyze the qualities of women, we find that, and looking at the global perspective, we can find that a challenged world is an alert world, and from a challenge comes a change. So we have to choose to challenge. And if we talk about restrictions, they have kept about 2.7 billion women from accessing the same choice of jobs as men. So if we have to bring up women entrepreneurs, we have to celebrate women's achievements. We have to raise awareness about women's equality. We have to lobby for accelerated gender parity, and we have to fundraise for female-focused charities. This becomes very important for us. Now, let us talk a little bit about law. What are the fundamental rights of women? The fundamental rights of women to equality under Article 14, which is equality before law, and Article 15, which is prohibition of discrimination on the grounds of religion, race, caste, sex, or birthplace, her right to life and right to practice any profession and carry out any occupation, trade, or business, which is under Article 21. So why is it that some of the women, they are deprived of these opportunities? That is the biggest question today. And if we just look into the entrepreneurship, rural entrepreneurship is also very important for the country, because we know that we have a very big rural population in our country. And this rural population, but on the other hand, India is one of the leading economies among the developing countries, with an average GDP growth rate of about 7% for over the last 1 decade. There has been a good economic progress in the fields of information technology, infrastructure, and services. The primary sector is agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, which accounts for over 68% of the population as per the last census. So now, if we have to utilize women as entrepreneurs, I must say that we must develop understanding about entrepreneurship in the rural context. We must develop entrepreneurial skills in the rural youth. We have to explore and identify the rural potential for a business idea. We have to develop skills to convert the idea into a commercial viable business concept. We have to measure the feasibility of the identified concept by the students. We have to develop a framework for integrating the business concepts and markets. And finally, we have to develop and implement the rural enterprise in which we can very well utilize the women. So I must say that women are a potential resource of the country. We must always remember that women are a potential resource for the country. And if we want to raise the economy of the country, there has to be a coordinated effort. There must be a coordinated effort, because there are many things. I just try to compare the qualities of men and women. So it is not only men who can do the work, it is not only women who can do the work. But I feel that today a coordinated effort is required. A coordinated effort, if we have this type of feeling that you can do what I cannot do and I can do what you cannot do. And today we can do great things. So today we have the power and the potential to change the entire economy of the country through our concerted efforts. So I would say that we should all come together. It may be men or it may be women. We must come together and we must work in a coherent manner so that we are able to bring about a change in the economy of the country. I'm very glad that this webinar has been organized on women entrepreneur development, and I'm sure that the ideas which are coming out through the learned speakers here, they will be taken care of by the organizers, and we'll be able to develop some very useful guidelines for women entrepreneur development. I compliment you for organizing this very important webinar, and I do hope that we are going to get some good results in future, and express my gratitude for inviting me to be a part of this webinar. Thank you very much. Jai Hind, Jai Bharat.
And thank you, Honorable Professor Nilima Gupta ma'am, Vice Chancellor Dr. Hari Singh Gaur Vishwavidyalaya. And thank you for giving your valuable words in this conference. May I proceed, sir? Devendra sir, may I proceed? May I continue?
Please continue.
Okay, just I will start my opinion. See, what I think that if women empowerment means economical self-reliance, then to a little bit, I don't coincide with that. If women empowerment means equality of right among men and women, then also I disagree to an extent. If you are speaking about protection, existence, and identity of female species of human beings, then of course I stands with you. Women empowerment has comprehensive meaning which have been wrongly elaborated, generalized, and globally hacked by politics. Women empowerment has extensive meaning and women entrepreneurship is a part of it. Definition of woman entrepreneur, development graph of it, various fields of it, government's efforts and plans, etc., has been discussed every time, and the discussion will be on always. I will just seek your attention towards the obstructive factors of women entrepreneur. Yes, we have these days Startup India and stand-up plans and policies of government. Yes, we have increasing graph globally of women entrepreneurs. Yes, we have Vandana Luthra, Naina Lal Kidwai, Ekta Kapoor, Kiran Majumdar Shaw, but these famous names are on fingertips only. They are not common or popular trend of women's life. After 75 years of independence, fundamental rights still have to be implemented. After 75 years of independence, female employment percentage in 2021 is only 41%. And still in parliament, we are struggling for 33%. See, the basic difference between service and entrepreneurship is easy opportunity and security. According to me, we have service through traditional education, competition, and then job. On the other hand, for becoming an entrepreneur, we need finance, field, family support. Finance from where? Field, which one should be? Indian family will finance a girl's marriage, but not her career. See, family support for women entrepreneur in India is a game matter, is a gone matter already. In case family is ready always to invest in dowry, but they never give the amount of dowry to a girl as a stand-up finance. They consider the matter as a social prestige. On the other hand, if you jump in entrepreneurship, challenges on the hand ahead are success surety in first chance not guaranteed. It will take time. You have to ready for slow growth and failure also. Needed constant effort. That means time-taking business. Without trouble, no result. On the other hand, after daughter's marriage, parents, family become free from their liability, and women also feel herself secured with a career, established husband, secured future, social prestige, and happiness comes in pocket with very simple investment, that is of or getting married. Women also have less interest in standing as an entrepreneur. She has to perform all around as an all-rounder, from home to office, from bed to bazaar. She has the responsibility to carry family, tradition, rituals, customs on her shoulder. Family, society, and woman herself thinks that it is her solely responsibility, especially in Indian context. So, according to me, these are three major obstructive factors regarding the development of women entrepreneurship in India especially are family, finance, and future. Family can invest for a boy, but not for a girl. Amount of dowry cannot be given to a girl as a financial support to stand up. Indian woman herself can't left home aside to stand up also, because no fast secured future is taking entrepreneurship as a career or a challenge. So, in my view, these three are the major causes. Rather, an Indian woman feels much secure being a service woman in comparison to be an entrepreneur. I am not including parda, marriage, divorce, woman honor, education, sexual harassment, because Women are suffering everywhere and they are fighting against this bravely, and they will. For me, family, finance, and future are very key factors in Indian content because in India, we used to say, Yatra Nari Pujyante Brahmate Tatra Devata. Truly said, we can worship women but can't invest on her for self reliance. We can praise women but can't support her for startup. We can make them iterate but can't hold them to stand up. But we have to overcome these hindrances and put our community to better use. Thank you for listening my words. And now I will welcome our guest speaker, Dr. Elizabeth Lukas Afolalu, Women and Relationship and Mindset Mentor, Inspirational Speaker, Director of Yes You Can, International United Kingdom, and member of our International Association, Social Science and Management Welfare. So I will just welcome once again Dr. Elizabeth. Please continue the speech.
Discussion.
Please continue with your speech.
Okay. Good
Dr.
morning.
Elizabeth, ma'am.
Can you hear me? Can you see me? Am I audible? Good
Yeah,
morning.
yeah, you're
Good
audible
morning.
and sound. Please continue.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning from United Kingdom. My name is Dr. Elizabeth Lukas Afolalu and the founder of Yes You Can International. Let me first of all use this time to thank the organizers, the founders of this organization, and all the organizers of this great event. And also want to say thank you very much for inviting me to come and share my inspirational nugget of wisdom. I also want to say a big thank you to our great moderator. Despite all the challenges of this technology, we're still moving on and we're still in control. So I want to praise you. Thank you very much for the hard work you're doing. I'm here to quickly share with you on women entrepreneur development. And before I move forward, all protocol observed, I want to appreciate and recognize all our guest speakers, honorable, and all our participants. Thank you very much for listening attentively to all what we have to share today, because togetherness, we can do something. Togetherness, we can win, and togetherness, we can make a difference in this world. All our dreams can come through if we have the courage to pursue them, said by Walt Disney. I'm an inspirational speaker, an advisor, a youth and relationship mentor. I'm also a mindset and transformation coach. And that is where I am going to share with you this morning, or this afternoon, or this evening, wherever you are. Do you believe in starting small business, but have a big dream and keep growing and getting better? That is a question that I asked myself about 45 years ago. Meanwhile, while I was raising my wonderful, lovely children, that is the questions that also came into my mind. That, do I really want to start small business and have a great big dream and keep growing and getting better? First of all, I would like to encourage all our women here in this platform that we have what it takes to be great entrepreneur. We can succeed, we can achieve, and we can fulfill our dreams and our purpose. Why? Because we are industrious, we are creative, we are powerful, we are knowledgeable, we are strong, and we can manage, and we can create, and we also can lead. So just to inspire us. So all women have all it takes to be a great entrepreneur. A first step to getting somewhere is to decide that you are not going to stay where you are. Just as I made that decision 20 years ago while I was a housewife nursing the children. I decided I will not stay where I am. Either I am educated or I am not, because we are resourceful, because we are greatness in us, and we can do all things. So I started my small business by trading in the market, raising the young ones up. And I was successful because from market, I developed, and then from there, I created different venues where I can employ others to do exactly what I'm doing. I look at what I can do, my ability. I look at the resources in my house, and I created, and then I started trading in the market what I have created. And I was successful. And then from there, I moved on to buy machines to become an entrepreneur again, and also creating printing businesses. And above that, I also create shops here in United Kingdom. So if I can do it, any other person out there can do it. And let me also say this, that our duty, our responsibility is to be there to support our men, our husband, to support our children, and also to be resourceful, to be independent, even right where we are in our house. Why am I talking all this? Is because mindset is everything. How do we create wealth? Mindset. How do we become entrepreneur or businesswoman? How do we succeed? All comes to our mindset. Firstly, you need to write down what do you want in life, because it's about you as a woman, as a mother, and also as a wife. You have to think about you. You have to think about your future, and you have to think about your children's future. And that is why I will encourage every one of us, in respect of the situation we find ourselves, we can still achieve, we can still fulfill our dreams, and we can still, and nothing cannot stop us. We can do it all.
Namaste, sir. Aramidir, sir.
So you write down what you want, write your vision, because when you write it down, it encourages you to move forward in life. What do you want? You want to be an entrepreneur? You want to be independent? You also want to support your husband financially? Because we can do that. And you want to create a future for your children and even for this world. Happiness depends on our mindset. So when you write it down and you keep feeding yourself, you keep reminding yourself, then that is where your happiness started. So happiness depends on our mindset. Mindset open opportunities. Mindset is how we judge the situation you are right now in your household, the situation you find yourself in your family. So mindset is how we judge the situation. Mindset is also about perception, what you see. Because sometimes we see troubles, we see negativities, we see I can't do it, we see all these things that cannot be done. But then if we change our mindset, then we can see the opposite of what you are seeing. You can change your opposite, your negativity, you can change it to positive. So perceive. Mindset is also performance. When you change your mindset, when you renew your mindset, when you feed your mind with positivity, then you can perform well. So when we move forward, Mindset is everything, like I said. It is either a barrier or a doorway to your destiny. We can conceive and we can achieve by our mind. Renewing or changing our mindset is for acquiring knowledge. You can only become what you think as a woman. And sometimes the way we present ourselves is the way we'll be treated. So
Now you are
therefore,
selected
your
from
mind
commerce.
must be working. What you are creating, what you create as a woman is the product of our thinking. And same is the ability of woman and a man. So you can choose to arise, achieve, and conquer through tough time. They say we women, we are tough. We are tough because of the experiences and the challenges we overcame. So our mindset is the storage of information we gather for solving problems. Women are called to solve problems right from their home, because we solve problems for our children, for our husbands, and also we have the ability to solve the problem of the nation, of this world. So, so we need to know who we are. We need to exercise that. We need to know that. We need to act on that. Who are we as a woman? I think I've already said that earlier on. We are creative. We are resourceful. We are powerful. We are strong. And we are industrious. So let us not forget about that. So then people can respect us the way we present ourselves. One of the reason, because I've been in business for several years, I've been an entrepreneur, I've been to so many seminars and conferences, webinars, may name it all. But one thing I noticed between us as a woman and also a man in business is confidence, is how you present yourself. We need to raise our standard up in order to be respected. We need to equip ourselves. We need to educate ourselves in order for us to meet up the standard and also to be respected in the marketplace. Education is the key to the future of women entrepreneur for women entrepreneur development. Women must be empowered, and to be empowered, they must be educated, supported, and be encouraged to exercise their rights. When we talk about women entrepreneur, women have to be involved in decision making, in leadership, and also in entrepreneur. So we need to come out of our comfort zone and know more than what we know before, and renew our mindset and meet up with the standard of the marketplace. Is very, very important. When we talk about women again, women with respect and honor, gender and equality policy needs to be addressed more than before. Security for our women and children is very important. So if we want to be successful as a woman, we need to be educated. We need to be support and sponsored. And we need, a lot of things need to be in place to support us as an entrepreneur. If I may say this, many years ago, majority of women are in the market trading. So we are there right from the beginning. All what we need is just to raise our standard, to be educated, to move to the next level, and also make ourselves known. We can only do this when we support one another, and then we support our men too, because what you do today will reflect of tomorrow. If you change yourself, you influence everyone around you. It's very, very important. What have I considered nothing can become not something. What is considered small can become great. A woman can start from the market, like I said, and then later on become a great successful woman and an entrepreneur. So it is not how you start, it is what you put into what you are doing. So before I finalize my speech, let me quickly share inspirational nuggets of wisdom like I always do. We need to collaborate as a woman. A tree cannot be a forest, and no one can be an island. When we work together, collaborate together, network together, work together, reasoning together. And that is why I want to appreciate our meeting here, our conference here today, because all over the world, we're sitting here to learn from one another, to collaborate, to work together, to share our thoughts, our views, and to work together, knowing that no one is in a corner. No one is alone. We work together to make it work. The secret of a woman on this world is to make it better. We have the power, and we can do it through entrepreneurship. Because if we are empowered and we are entrepreneured, and then we can do more, then we can support this solution, and we can support the nation and solve some other problems. Women's voice need to be rising. Our voice need to be heard. We have the ideas, we have the knowledge, we have the wisdom. And when we put all these things on the table, our businesses and our nation, our economy will be better. So it's very, very important. Very, very important. So to round up, I will say we need to collaborate. We also need to be creative, because innovation or innovators are the leaders of tomorrow. We have it in us. We need to be creative. We need to be innovative as well. Bring ideas to the table. When you start something small, you will believe with me that when you consistently doing that thing, new ideas will be coming in. So consistent is also another one. We need to be consistent, diligent in whatever we are doing. Very important. When we talk of diligence, let me also add this: determination. The reason why I mention determination is because there is a lot of distractions out there. Look at what the COVID is doing to us now. But are we going to fold our hands, complaining, lamenting? No. We see the opportunity beyond the problem. We see possibilities beyond the negativity, and say to ourselves, we can do it, and we can work hard, because we need to support our men, and we need to also create a better life, a better future for our children. So we need to be determined, no matter the distraction, no matter the disappointment, no matter what you are going through, no matter the challenges. Let me just encourage you today that you can still rise up, take a giant leap, and keep doing what you are doing, because the success is just right in the corner. So be focused, and not to lose your focus, not to be distracted. Be consistent, and also build confidence. Like I said right from the beginning, women, we need to build our confidence. We need to rise up. We need to stand strong. And how can we do it? Is by supporting one another. For another thing, I will also say that we need finances. All our younger ones, we need to start training them out to be an independent, out to, no matter whatever they are studying in university or in school, we need to let them know that they can do more than what they are doing now. They can also be an entrepreneur. We can prepare their mind right from when they were young to know that going to school is not enough. Yes, you need to go to school to gain knowledge, but you are going there to gain knowledge. So you will not only just be an employee, you can be an employer. You cannot just be a worker. in working for people, but people also can work for them. So it is right from when they were young that we empower them, we renew their mindset, we start training them, we start encouraging them, and that will make them to do better even in class, knowing that the future is better and future is greater, and they will do it. Now, let me finally say this, that power of collaboration is very important. Networking together is very important. Don't do things in a comfort zone. Come out of your comfort zone, because you can do greater, better than what you are doing right now as a woman. And resources will be there, because if you can put more effort into what you are doing, the helpers, the sponsors, the shareholders, they are ready to take you up and to take you to the next level and support you. So let's be consistent. Let's be connecting with other women, other entrepreneurs. Connect with them. Learn from one another. Let me also put this to you quickly. Dare to dream big. Dare to dream big, and never be afraid to make mistakes. Never be afraid to make mistakes. The successful entrepreneurs, they made mistakes millions of times, but they bounced back and they continued the journey. They continued their business. And guess what? When you make mistakes and you learn from that mistakes, you will see that your business or whatever you are doing will be better and greater than before. So dare to stand from your mistakes, from your failure, and know that you are a successful, and you will become a successful entrepreneur, knowing that greatness is in you and you can perform, you can achieve, and you can do better. So learn new skills. Be willing to learn new skills in respect of any other things that is coming up. I can tell you, during this lockdown, COVID pandemic, many of us have learned new skills. Let's continue. I've learned a lot about technology. Technology is not a threat to us, it's an opportunity. So let's embrace it, knowing that we are not perfect, but we are getting better every day. Technology is here to stay for us to improve our performances. Technology is here to stay for us to new skills, because when we are multi-skills, multitask, then we can perform better. I believe that I have inspired you this morning as an entrepreneur, as a leader, and also as a powerful woman, that yes, we can achieve, yes, we can become, and yes, we can fulfill our dream, and nothing can stop us. Even if you are nursing your babies, you can still create wealth. Thank you very much. Elizabeth Lukas, the founder of Yes You Can International and the author of a book called Yes You Can. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your encouraging and motivational words for us. Thank you once again.
Thank you.
Now may I request our chief guest, Honorable Professor Renu Jain, ma'am. Has she joined?
Ma'am is joined after some time. Please
And
request Oswal ma'am from Mahila Grah Udyog. He
okay.
is already
Thank you, sir, for the information. Now, may I request our guest and speaker, Praksha Oswal ma'am, to have her views on this topic. She is director of Sri Mahila Grih Udyog, Lijjat Papad, Jabalpur from India. Ma'am, welcome in our conference, and please have your time.
Please unmute, ma'am. Please, your sound is not.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Please welcome, ma'am. Please.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, ma'am. You
Yes,
are
ma'am.
visible. visible and audible too. You can continue, ma'am.
Okay.
You can continue.
मैं प्रक्षा ओसवाल, संचालिका श्री महिला गृह उद्योग लिज्जत पापड़ की ओर से आप लोग सभी को नमस्कार करती हूँ। आज इसी के साथ आप सबको लिज्जत संस्था की रूपरेखा एवं प्रगति पथ को दर्शाना चाहती हूँ। यह संस्था का हेड ऑफिस मुंबई में है। देश की यह 9वीं शाखा थी जो जबलपुर में स्थापित हुई। 1974 में बसंत पंचमी के दिन 12 फरवरी श्री शांतिलाल शाह, श्रीमती भानुबेन शाह, श्रीमती पुष्पा बेरी द्वारा नारियल एवं कलश रख के इसकी स्थापना की गई थी। यह संस्था सोसाइटी रजिस्ट्रेशन एक्ट एवं मुंबई के पब्लिक ट्रस्ट एक्ट के अंतर्गत रजिस्टर्ड है। यह संस्था खादी ग्रामोद्योग इंडस्ट्रीज कमीशन के द्वारा भी मान्य है। यह संस्था एक कोऑपरेटिव की तरह से काम करती है, जो इसमें जो भी भागीदार है, जो भी महिला सदस्य है, सारे इसके भागीदार है और सदस्य की रीत से काम करते हैं। यह संस्था महिलाओं द्वारा महिलाओं के लिए एवं महिलाओं के उत्थान के लिए समर्पित है। हमारा उद्देश्य है महिलाओं का जीवन स्तर ऊपर उठाना, उनकी आर्थिक, सामाजिक एवं शैक्षणिक योगदान को आगे बढ़ाना। जैसे बहनें कमाती है तो उनको समाज में अलग से ही रिस्पेक्ट मिलती है। इसी तरह से घर में वो जो पैसे ले जाती है, घर परिवार को, अपने बच्चों को अच्छे पढ़ा के खूब अच्छी तरह से घर चला सकती है। सोशली हम ऐसा वर्क करते हैं, जैसे घर में कोई प्रॉब्लम उनको आ गई है कि जैसे झगड़े हो रहे हैं, तो परिवार परामर्श केंद्र एवं पुलिस की मदद से उसको सॉल्व करने की हम हेल्प करते हैं। होनहार बच्चों को भी उनको छात्रवृत्ति देने की हम लोग रखते हैं। समय समय पर मेडिकल कैंप्स भी हम लगाते हैं, ताकि जैसे आई चेकअप कैंप, कैंसर के लिए जागरूकता फैलाना एवं हीमोग्लोबिन चेकअप, ब्लड शुगर चेकअप, इस तरह के कैंप्स भी हम ऑर्गेनाइज करते हैं। कोई भी जाति, रंग, मत भेद बिना उनको वित्तीय प्रदान करते हैं। संस्था में सदस्य बनने के लिए उसको कुछ भी और नहीं करना पड़ता है, सिर्फ पापड़ बनाना सीखना है और इस संस्था में उनको एंट्री मिल सकती है। यह संस्था एक कोऑपरेटिव के रूप से ही काम करती है। धीरे धीरे शुरुआत के दौर में सिर्फ 1.5-2 लाख रुपए बाजार से लोन लेकर इस संस्था का काम शुरू किया गया। कोई भी बैंक से लोन या शासकीय मदद नहीं लिया गया। थोड़ी बहनों को, 10-12 बहनों को प्रशिक्षित किया पापड़ बनाने के लिए और बनाना काम तो शुरू कर लिया, लेकिन बेचना काम बहुत कठिन था। उन जमाने में कोई भी बाहर का पापड़ नहीं खाता था, घर घर में ही पापड़ बनते थे। तो साइकिल वगैरह से सहायता से घर घर, दुकान दुकान जाके थोड़ा सा बनाए हुआ पापड़ को बेचा जाता था। लेकिन जैसे जैसे आगे दिन बढ़ते गए तो गुणवत्ता के कारण से स्वादिष्ट पापड़ की मांग बढ़ती गई। धीरे धीरे शहर में ही नहीं, आजू बाजू शहरों में भी हम लोग पापड़ बेचने गए लगे, जैसे शिवनी, बालाघाट, नागपुर, गोंदिया, परासिया, इस तरफ छत्तीसगढ़ में दुर्ग, रायपुर, बिलासपुर, कोरबा, सतना, कटनी, इलाहाबाद, इवन दिल्ली तक हमारा माल जाता है और ग्राहक लोग खूब पसंद करते हैं इस माल को। धीरे धीरे एक्सपोर्ट्स के भी ऑर्डर हम लोग को आने लगे। ऐसे पिछले महीने ही हम लोगों ने 400 कार्टून्स को एक्सपोर्ट किया। इस तरह से 15 महिलाओं के साथ शुरू किया गया काम आज 2600 बहनें संस्था में कार्यरत है। जैसे जैसे काम बढ़ता गया और बहनें इसमें जुड़ती गई। जैसे जरूरत के हिसाब से जो छोटा सा किराए का मकान लिया था उसको भी वो कम पड़ने लगा। नई जगह खरीद के ऑफिस के लिए बिल्डिंग बनाई गई एवं रिछाई इंडस्ट्रियल एस्टेट में बड़ी जगह खरीद करके मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यूनिट तैयार किया गया। न्यू मशीनरीज की साथ साथ में लिया गया। आने जाने के लिए ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों से पिकअप करने के लिए बस की सुविधाएं भी रखी गई। कंप्यूटर्स, कोडिंग मशीन्स वगैरह के भी जरूरत के हिसाब से इसमें जोड़ा गया। जो काम करे वही मालिक, इस तरह इस सिद्धांत पर ये संस्था काम करती है। साल भर में जो भी कमाया जाता है शुद्ध लाभ बहनों के अंतर्गत ही उनके काम के अनुपात में बांटा जाता है। सभी बहनें जब छोटे से बड़े सभी लोग को 1% से बोनस या लाभ का बंटवारा होता है। इस तरह से सभी बहनों के अंदर एक पारिवारिक भावना उत्पन्न होती है। वो सोचते हैं कि ये मेरा अपना काम है। इस तरह से उनके पास ज्यादा से ज्यादा वो अपना मेहनत करके आगे बढ़ते हैं। जैसे जैसे मांग बढ़ती गई पापड़ में न्यू वैरायटीज का भी मार्केट में डाला गया। उड़द, मूंग मसाला तो पहले से ही चल ही रहे थे। गार्लिक, ग्रीन चिली, बीकानेरी पापड़, चना पापड़, इवन चावल के राइस पापड़ भी बाजार में उतारा गया। जैसे आजकल खूब चलन है इस तरह से चक्की का गेहूं का आटा भी बाजार में डाला गया। बेसन, समय की मांग के साथ मक्का आटा भी बनाया हमने, जो ठंड में बहुत लोग पसंद करते हैं। आजकल लोग बहुत ही कॉन्शियस है हेल्थ को लेके, तो इस तरह से हम लोगों ने मल्टीग्रेन आटा बनाना शुरू किया। साथ में मल्टीग्रेन खिचड़ी भी बनाया। बड़ी भी हमारी बहुत लोग पसंद करते हैं। उड़द, मूंग मसाला वगैरह बड़ी भी खूब प्रचलित है। मसालों में हम लोगों ने काली मिर्च, अमचूर पाउडर, धनिया, मिर्ची, मसाले वगैरह भी शुरू किया। और बहनों को काम देने के उद्देश्य से हम लोगों ने खाखड़ा भी बनवाना शुरू किया, जो रेडी टू ईट प्रोडक्ट है। जीरा, मेथी, मसाला, कचौरी वगैरह खाखड़ा के स्वाद भी आगे मार्केट में डाला। ये पूरा प्रोसेस बहुत अच्छी तरीके से व्यवस्थित तरीके से गठन होता है, क्योंकि मैनेजमेंट इसमें बहुत बड़ा पार्ट देता है। शुरू में कहाँ प्लानिंग भी इसमें बहुत जरूरी है। कहाँ से आपको रॉ मटेरियल खरीदना है, किस किस जगह से लेना है, किस समय पर लेना है, ये बहुत ही जरूरी है। क्योंकि जो मसाले हैं, काली मिर्च वगैरह बहुत लगता है, वो साउथ, केरला, कर्नाटका तरफ से लिया जाता है, जबकि पापड़ खार वगैरह गुजरात तरफ से आता है। और हिंग जो इसमें पापड़ खार में डाला जाता है वो तो विदेश अफगानिस्तान तरफ से ही आता है। वहाँ की हिंग बहुत अच्छी रहती है। इस तरह से अच्छे जो रॉ मटेरियल हम लोग यूज करते हैं, दाल बेस्ट क्वालिटी की यूज करते, इसी कारण से हमारे पापड़ विश्व प्रसिद्ध है। इसको दाल जो खरीदते हैं इसको पीस के तैयार आटा गूंथ के बनाया जाता है, जो अपनी बहनों के डिस्ट्रीब्यूट किया जाता है। वो लोग दिन भर घर में पापड़ बना के नेक्स्ट डे संस्था में आती है, उस हर एक एक पापड़ उसको चेक किया जाता है और उसको 200 ग्राम में तोलकर अलग अलग पैकिंग करके मांग के अनुसार बनता है सारा प्रोडक्ट्स। कोई भी हम लोग स्टोर नहीं करते ताकि फ्रेश प्रोडक्ट्स बाजार में मिल सके। फिर 5-5 बंडल को नीचे जाके ट्रक वगैरह में भरा जाता है, फिर अलग अलग डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर को भेजा जाता है। इन सारे प्रोसेस के अंदर बहुत ही कोऑर्डिनेशन की जरूरत रहती है, तालमेल एक दूसरे के साथ बैठा रहे तभी काम ये संभवित है। जैसे एक माला के मोती की माला के अंदर एक धागे के अंदर किस तरह से परोया जाता है, इसी तरह से एक कोऑपरेटिव संस्था काम करती है। एक दूसरे को खूब अच्छे से समझते हैं और फिर उन लोग की जो अंदर के गुण है उसको विकसित करने के लिए ये हेल्प करती है। जो इन बहनों को पापड़ बनाते हैं उनको साप्ताहिक पेमेंट मिलती है, तो उस पेमेंट के जरिए सारे लोग बहनों के बैंक अकाउंट से डायरेक्टली NEFT करके पैसों को उनके बैंक अकाउंट्स में डाला जाता है। समय समय पर जो भी संस्था को प्रॉफिट होता है उसी को फिर से मतलब लाभांश के तरीके से उनके बैंक अकाउंट में डाला जाता है। इस तरह से पूरी कार्य प्रणाली बहुत व्यवस्थित तरीके से गठन हुई है। लिज्जत पापड़ के प्रमुख सफलता के लक्षण ये है कि दृढ़ विश्वास। कुछ अपने को अचीव करना है तो मन में एक बार ठान लिया मैं करके ही रहूंगी तो ये सब हो सकता है। जैसे सोचेंगे वैसे अपन बन सकते हैं। कुशल मैनेजमेंट की इतनी ही जरूरत है, प्लानिंग कोऑर्डिनेशन बहुत ही जरूरत है। सारे डिपार्टमेंट के लोग अपना समझ के जब संस्था के लिए काम करते हैं तब उसकी बात ही कुछ और है। समाज सेवा की भावना भी इसमें जुड़ी रहती है कि मैं जो कर रही हूँ अपने लिए सिर्फ नहीं, काफी लोगों के लिए जो जरूरतमंद महिलाएं हैं उनके लिए कर रही हूँ। ऐसे समाज सेवा की भावना ठूस ठूस के भरी हो तब 4 चांद लग जाता है। निष्ठा प्रामाणिकता भी बहुत ही मायने लगता है। जैसे अच्छे प्रोडक्ट बनाने के लिए हर बहन को इसके लिए अपना प्रामाणिकता से काम करना जरूर रहता है। कोई मिलावट नहीं होना चाहिए। समय समय पर हम लोग उनकी चेकिंग करने के लिए स्टाफ को भी भेजते हैं और एक एक पापड़ भी चेक होके और कोई भी तोल में कम ज्यादा न करके इस तरह से हम लोग डबल चेक करके मार्केट में डालते हैं। उत्तम कार्य प्रणाली इसमें बहुत ही मायने लगती है। जैसे कि पूरा स्ट्रक्चर छोटे से बड़े तक सारे लोग अपना समझ के जब काम करते हैं तो बहुत ही सक्सेस रेट इसका बढ़ जाता है। पारदर्शिता हो तो किसी को भी ऐसा नहीं लगता है कि मैंने ज्यादा काम किया या मैंने छोटा काम किया या मैंने बड़ा काम किया। अपने अपने के हिस्सा काम करके वो लोग खुश भी रहते हैं। सारी बहनें तो जब प्रॉफिट शेयर होता है तो बोनस मिलता है तो अपने बच्चों की पढ़ाई के लिए शादी ब्याह या घर बनाने तक भी उन लोग का काम हो जाता है। संस्था के साथ लगन से काम करने से बहुत ही फायदा होता है। एक एक बहन जब समर्पण भाव से ये काम करती है तो काम ही कुछ और है। उत्साह लगन ये सारी चीजें बहुत जरूरी है ताकि निरंतर ये काम हमारा चलता रहे। मैं एक आप लोग को वीडियो दिखाना चाहती हूँ जिससे संस्था के बारे में और अच्छे से आपको जानकारी हो जाए। मैं चाहती हूँ कि मैं एक और चीज बोलना चाहती हूँ, इफ एनीवन कैन डू आई कैन डू, आई विल डू। ऐसा दृढ़ निश्चय हो तो कोई भी दुनिया का काम बड़ा नहीं होता, आसानी हो जाता है। एक वीडियो से आप लोग को और संस्था के बारे में अवगत कराना चाहती हूँ।
जबलपुर स्थित श्री महिला गृह उद्योग, जिसने देश ही नहीं वरन विदेशों में भी संस्कार धनी का नाम रोशन किया है, नारी सशक्तिकरण के क्षेत्र में कार्य करने वाली इस संस्था ने महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाया है। वर्तमान में लिज्जत परिवार में 4500 महिला सदस्य कार्यरत हैं। श्री महिला गृह उद्योग एक छोटी सी पहल थी जो कि आज विश्व में एक पहचान बन गई है। लिज्जत पापड़ एक संस्था नहीं बल्कि एक परिवार है जो कि महिलाओं द्वारा महिलाओं को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए निरंतर कार्य करती आ रही है। इस संस्था में कार्यरत महिलाएं रोजाना 1 किलोग्राम से लेकर 20 किलोग्राम तक के पापड़ तैयार करती हैं। उन्हें यहाँ पर पापड़ का आटा तौल कर दिया जाता है। महिलाएं इसे अपने घर ले जाकर पापड़ तैयार करती हैं, फिर तैयार पापड़ को तौलकर यहाँ जमा कर देती हैं। पारिश्रमिक के रूप में साप्ताहिक भुगतान किया जाता है। सभी को उनके कार्य अनुसार वेतन दिया जाता है। श्री महिला गृह उद्योग के पास सभी प्रकार की दुकानों का मेला भी लगता है, जिसमें उन्हें अपने जरूरत के अनुसार सामग्री क्रय करने कहीं और नहीं जाना पड़ता और अन्य छोटे छोटे व्यापारियों को भी रोजगार प्राप्त होता है। अलग अलग क्षेत्रों से आने वाली महिलाएं यहाँ तक पहुँचती हैं, जिन्हें ना ही गर्मी रोक पाती है और ना ही ठंड या बरसात। आसपास की महिलाएं तो पैदल या ऑटो से यहाँ तक पहुँचती हैं, लेकिन दूर दराज से आने वाली महिलाओं को परिवार के द्वारा बस की सुविधा उपलब्ध कराई गई है। साथ ही महिलाओं की सुरक्षा का भी खास ख्याल रखा जाता है। शहर के मध्य एक मुख्य कार्यालय है, जिससे महिलाओं की पहुंच यहां तक आसान होती है। जबलपुर शहर के औद्योगिक क्षेत्र रिछाई में प्लांट है। मार्केट से आने वाली निर्माण सामग्री जैसे गेहूं, दाल आदि यहां पहुंचती है। प्लांट में छनाई, पिनाई, धुलाई कर सामग्री को पापड़, बरी, दलिया के अनुरूप बनाया जाता है। यह कार्य मशीनों द्वारा किया जाता है। तैयार कच्चे माल को उत्पादन का स्वरूप दिया जाता है। गेहूं, दाल जैसी सामग्री को पहले धोया जाता है, छिलके रहित कर कचरा, कंकड़ आदि निकालकर इसे साफ कर मशीनों द्वारा इसकी पिसाई की जाती है एवं बरी तैयार कर उन्हें वहीं सुखाया जाता है। इसके साथ ही पैकिंग का कार्य कर सामग्री को देश के कोने कोने तक पहुंचाया जाता है। श्री महिला गृह उद्योग द्वारा निर्मित उत्पादन सामग्री विदेशों में भी भेजी जाती है। श्री महिला गृह उद्योग का एक नारा या मूल मंत्र है, जो काम करे वही मालिक।
आप लोग सबको धन्यवाद बोलते हुए फिर से थैंक यू।
धन्यवाद प्रक्षा जी, बहुत ही उत्साहवर्धक आपका यह कार्यक्रम रहा और सबसे अच्छी बात है कि एक आशा जगी कि स्त्रियों के कार्य से स्त्रियों को स्वामित्व मिलने की जो बात होती है वो शायद लिज्जत पापड़ उद्योग से ही हम लोगों को भी प्रेरणा मिलती है। मैं ये आज का मैं एक बात एडमिट करना चाहूंगी कि ये आज की संस्था नहीं है। 1988 की बात है कि हम लोग उस समय फाइनल 12th में थे, तो उस समय भी दूरदर्शन ब्लैक एंड व्हाइट हुआ करता था और उस समय लिज्जत पापड़ पर उसमें कार्यक्रम दिखाया गया था। जो वीडियो हमने अभी देखा, इस तरह का एक प्रोग्राम हमने उस समय देखा था। तो प्रक्षा जी, आपके आने से, आपकी सूचना जो थी आने की, उससे ही मैं बहुत उत्साहित थी। आज आपसे रूबरू हुई और सभी लोगों ने लिज्जत पापड़ संस्था के कार्यक्रम को देखा और बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद आपका इसके लिए। मैं एक बार फिर अपने आयोजक समुदाय की तरफ से आपका धन्यवाद और आभार प्रकट करती हूँ।
कंचन जी, धन्यवाद कि आपने इतनी अच्छी उपलब्धि को धन्यवाद दिया और सोशल साइंस एंड मैनेजमेंट वेलफेयर एसोसिएशन इंटरनेशनल नेशनल बॉडी भी आपको धन्यवाद देती है, पूरे परिवार को धन्यवाद देती है। केवल एक आप छोटा उद्योग नहीं चला रहे हैं, आप लोगों के परिवार चलाने का काम कर रहे हैं, उनको सामाजिक और आर्थिक रूप से मजबूत करने का काम कर रहे हैं। और मैं तो देखता हूँ कि सुबह से लेकर सुबह, बहुत सुबह लोग निकल जाते हैं, कई लोग पैदल निकल जाते हैं, और एक महिला अपने पूरे परिवार को चला रही है। एक ये ईश्वरी काम आप लोग कर रहे हैं आज के इस समय में, और इसलिए ईश्वर आपके साथ है। आपके पूरे परिवार को हमारा पूरा संगठन सल्यूट करता है, नमन करता है, और इसी और आशा विश्वास के साथ कि आप प्रगति करें। और हमारी इस अंतर्राष्ट्रीय कॉन्फ्रेंस का मूल आधार ही आप हैं, और आपकी इससे हम सबको बहुत प्रेरणा मिलती है। महिलाओं के आर्थिक और सामाजिक विकास में, उनकी दिशा सुधारने में महिला गृह उद्योग बहुत बड़ी भूमिका निभा रहा है, और हमें बहुत ही अच्छा लगा, और हम सबको आप पर गर्व है, और हम आपके अच्छे स्वास्थ्य और आपके प्रगति की कामना करते हैं। ये संस्था आपके लिए हमेशा दुआ करेगी। धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद सर। और यही नारी सशक्तिकरण का सही मायने भी है, जो मैंने अपनी बात में भी कही थी, अपने वक्तव्य में, कि नारी सशक्तिकरण का ये सही मायने भी है। सिर्फ नारी उद्योग ही नहीं, यह नारी सशक्तिकरण का भी एक फोरम है। तो धन्यवाद प्रक्षा जी एक बार और हम लोगों की तरफ से। नाउ मे आई इनवाइट आवर गेस्ट स्पीकर डॉक्टर उज्ज्वला एस बेंदाले। She is there? Ma'am, are you there in our session?
Yes, madam. I'm there.
Okay, okay.
Can you see
I
me?
welcome Dr. Ujjwala S. Bendale, in charge principal of BVDU, New Law College, and Dean, Faculty of Law, Bharati Vidyapeeth, Deemed University, Pune, to have her precious words to us. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everyone. I really thank you all for this opportunity. Especially, I congratulate the Social Science and Management Welfare Association Women's Cell for organizing the 6th International Multidisciplinary Research Conference on Women Entrepreneur Development. Respected Dr. Bless Ramos, the International Coordinator, Dr. Kanchan Sharma, National Coordinator, SSMWA Women's Cell, and Professor Vinesha Singh, the State Coordinator, SSMWA Women's Cell. I will begin with my presentation. I'll just have to upload my presentation. Give me 1 minute and I'll begin. Madam, can you see me? See the presentation? Madam, क्या आप देख पा रही हैं?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
I'll begin. So, being a law fraternity member, today's topic which I have selected for you all, women entrepreneurs and the development and in the development of women entrepreneurs. The topic is protection of women at workplace, national and international perspective. My concern today to tell you is, because we are developing the world, we are
आप में से जिसका भी माइक ऑन है, मैडम उज्ज्वला की माइक को छोड़ के प्लीज आप लोग सब बंद कर ले माइक. आई रिक्वेस्ट ऑल दी पार्टिसिपेंट्स टू जस्ट स्विच ऑफ देयर माइक except Ma'am Ujjwala, so that we can hear everything clearly. Ma'am, your microphone is muted. वहाँ भी म्यूट है ना मैडम का? मैडम ने म्यूट किया या हम लोगों ने किया? मैम, कैन यू हियर मी? मैम, योर फोन इज म्यूटेड.
Ma'am, your microphone is muted.
Yes, madam. Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was muted.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm
please.
sorry. Yes.
Please continue.
Yes, madam. So, to begin with, I'm starting with the international scenario, and I'll give you the idea about how internationally the International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, that is CEDAW, 1979, has given us the definition of sexual harassment at workplaces and exactly what includes in this particular definition. The United Nations General Recommendation 19 of CEDAW defines sexual harassment of women, and it includes such unwelcome sexually determined behavior as physical contact and advances, sexually colored remarks, showing pornography, and sexual demands, whether by words or actions. Such conduct can be humiliating and may constitute a health and safety problem. It is discriminatory when the woman has reasonable ground to believe that her objection would disadvantage her in connection with her employment, including recruitment or promotion, or when it creates a hostile working environment. So, CEDAW right from beginning has given us an understanding of what all is included in sexual harassment. So you being entrepreneurs and you being employees everywhere, you should be aware that internationally this law prevails for us, protecting our rights. Now, I would like to give you the illustrations of what exactly are sexual harassments. And this has been adopted by US Equal Employment Opportunities Commission. It says that it says that sexual harassment can occur at under many variety of circumstances, and they are not limited to one or others, but these are few of the examples. The victim as well as the harasser may be a woman or a man, so it is not necessary that only a man can do sexual harassment. The victim does not have to be the victim does not have to be of opposite sex. The harasser can be victim supervisor, an agent of the employer, a supervisor in another area, a co-worker, or a non-employee. The victim does not have to be person harassed, but could be anyone affected by offensive conduct. Unlawful sexual harassment may occur without economic injury to or discharge of the victim. The harasser's conduct must be unwelcome. Even for that matter, stalking, grouping, and promising favorable treatment at the workplace in return of sexual favors are other examples of sexual harassment. Now, further, I want to tell you that we see what are the effects on victims of this particular sexual harassments. Basically, her work is decreased. Her performances are decreased. She remains absent from her work. Then there are loss of job and career, and then there is loss of income. Then there is stress, anxiety, depression, and then no, she does not trust people around, colleagues, everyone, friends, colleagues, everyone becomes a very weak support system many a times, because many a times she is not getting confidence of people whether she can rely upon. So this is what I can tell you. Internationally we have tried to discuss, and nationally as well. Then when we talk about nationally constitutional provisions are there to protect the interest of women in this country. And of course, the Article 14 and Article 15, they talk about equality. Equality rights are given under Article 14, and 15 talks about no discrimination on the basis of sex. And so law is very clear, which says that every woman has an equal opportunity, whether it is work, whether it is any place she is trying to represent. Secondly, Article 19(1)(g) talks about right to practice any profession or carry any occupation, trade, or business. And after 2013 POSH Act, it is made very clear that right to practice profession, any business of a choice, including a right to a safe environment free from sexual harassment. Now I'm talking about Article 21 of Indian Constitution, which says right to life and live with dignity. This particular right gives all the women the right to live with dignity, and this protection is available right from 1950 to all of us. And later on, now in 2013, the preamble to POSH very clearly says that protection against sexual harassment and the right to work with dignity are universally recognized human rights by international conventions and instruments such as CEDAW. And of course, it is recognized by the Government of India in 1993. Now, what I'm trying to tell you is there are national provisions and, of course, there are constitutional provisions. And when I talk about national statutes, Indian Penal Code gives protection to women under Section 249, which talks about obscene acts and songs at public place. 354 deals with assault or criminal force against women. 376 deals with rape. Section 510 deals with uttering words or making gestures with outrages a woman's modesty. So these are few of the particular legislation statutes, and of course Indecent Representation of Women Act 1986. It talks about not expressly sexual harassment, but certain provisions of it can be taken by women for, you can say, putting a charge. And of course it talks about that if a person harasses another by showing books, photographs, painting, films, etc., containing indecent representation of women, that he will be liable for minimum 2 years imprisonment. Section 7 of this act punishes companies if there is indecent representation of women, like showing pornography, etc. The harassed woman can also go and file a case in civil court for tortious action like mental anguish, physical harassment, loss of income in employment of victim, etc. So what I'm trying to tell you is, before POSH, all these provisions were already in existence, but the implementation was very weak, and women were not aware about their rights. Today also there are many women who are not aware about this, and so I have selected this platform to make everyone aware about these laws which are there in this country to protect your interests. Don't get scared for claiming your rights. Don't get scared for complaining about whatever wrong is happening to you at your workplaces. But now I'm going to take you to a scenario as to when the POSH, and what are the seeds of POSH which were been paved in our legal system. And it is only through judicial activism in 1997 that led to paving of seeds of POSH in 2013. And that case is Vishakha and others versus state of Rajasthan. This is a case which recognized for the first time sexual harassment not only as a private injury to an individual woman, but also as violation of her fundamental rights. The Supreme Court in this case laid down the guidelines for the first time ever for working women in this country. And herein, the significance of this case is, for the first time, sexual harassment is defined as a separate category of legally prohibited behavior. And secondly, it is subjected to all workplaces until any legislation is passed by Parliament in this regard. So before POSH, this was the scenario, and Vishakha is a case of a brutal gang rape of an social worker who was fighting for the cause of stopping child marriages in Rajasthan. And the upper caste men, they did not like this, and they brutally raped her, molested her, and left her at the mercy of all these particular technicalities of the existing laws. But gradually, when the matter went to the Supreme Court laid down these guidelines, and the guidelines were very clear, which said that it is the duty of every employer to deliver the sense of security to every woman employee working in his particular employment or in his company, office, whatsoever. The government should make strict laws and regulations to prohibit sexual harassment. There should be disciplinary actions and criminal proceedings brought against the wrongdoer. The organization should set up a complaint mechanism for redressal of complaints and which are made by the victims, and they should be handled within reasonable time. Then this complaint mechanism should be in the form of a complaint committee. So it was very clearly stated in these guidelines that there has to be a complaint committee which should be headed by women members, and more than 50% members should be women, so that the victim should be feeling comfortable to come and make that particular complaints, and they should not feel ashamed and humiliated for making this particular complaints. Further, the guideline says that the complaint committee should have involvement of third party, that is NGOs and other bodies, and there should be total transparency in the functioning of this particular committees. Further, it says that issues relating to sexual harassment should not be a taboo. It should make the environment very clear. The particular issues should be dealt very positively, and they should not be stigmatizing that women only. And that mentality had to be changed right from 1997. This is what the Supreme Court continuously supported, and we also should support the positive environment in these circumstances. Then it is the duty of the organizations to make aware the female employees of their rights as employees, and of course about the new guidelines and legislations which have been passed. Then we also see that the employers or persons who are in charge, they are duty bound to take reasonable steps to provide support to the victim if sexual harassment has taken place due to the act or omission of the third party. These guidelines are very clear, and they are not limited to only government employers. They are also applicable on the private sectors. So after Vishakha's case, we see there were a number of cases which came up, and the very later on top case was April Export Promotion Council versus AK Chopra 1999. And this was the case in which, again, the immediate boss of the typist humiliated her, molested her, and then the matter, when it was taken up by the Supreme Court declared in this case that sexual harassment is gender discrimination against women, and also said that any act or attempt of molestation by a superior will constitute sexual harassment. And gradually there were many more cases, and finally it was Nirbhaya's case in 2012, which again led Vishakha's guidelines to be paled into an enactment called POSH. Nirbhaya's case, we all are aware, this case had shaken the whole country, not only the whole country, but internationally also. The whole particular international community was shaken by what was happening in India. And so United Nations, they interfered into this particular matter, and then India had to act upon this particular provisions. And finally we saw ordinances and amendments being brought. And then in Indian Penal Code, we had insertion of capital A, that is, the amendment was made to criminal law, and this amendment was also famously known as Nirbhaya's Act. So 354A talks about and defines under IPC sexual harassment, and it gives proper punishments now, and that too rigorous imprisonments are being imposed. And it says sexual harassment will be punishable in any workplaces anywhere done. It will be 3 years of imprisonment if it is wherever the offender is making physical contact and advances involving unwelcome and explicit sexual overtures, or a demand or request for sexual favors, and forcibly showing pornographies, etc. And of course, imprisonment up to 1 year, or with fine, or with both, in cases where the offender is making sexually colored remarks. So we see that it had taken almost 17 years from Vishakha's guideline for our country to enact the law, and that law is called as POSH, and exactly the law is titled as the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Prevention, Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013, shortly called as POSH. Now this act very clearly and definitely defines sexual harassment, and it includes any one of the following: unwelcome acts or behaviors, whether directly or implications, namely physical contact and advance, a demand or request for sexual favors, making sexually colored remarks or showing pornography, or any other unwelcome physical, verbal or non-verbal conduct of sexual nature. Further, there are circumstances which are also included into sexual harassment, which includes implied or explicit promise of preferential treatment in her employment, implied or explicit threat to detrimental treatment in her employment, or implied or explicit threat about her present or future employment status, or interference with her work, or creating an intimidating or offensive or hostile work environment for her, or humiliating treatment likely to affect her health or safety. So we see that the POSH Act went on to give the exact definition of sexual harassment, which was never ever there in our legal system nationally. Now, we talk about the applicability of POSH is applicable to. Please mute yourself, everyone. Madam, ask everyone to mute yourself. I'll finish up in 5 minutes. POSH is applicable to all establishments, companies, organizations, whether they are public or private, employing 10 or more employees, whether permanent, temporary, ad hoc, consultants, interns, or contract workers, irrespective of gender, irrespective of business or industry. So, you all please take into understanding that women entrepreneurs should know all these particular provisions which are existing now. And further, we see there are certain compliances under POSH which are to be taken into consideration by all the members or all the employers, whether it is companies, firms, etc., etc. The compliances under POSH are firstly constitution of an internal complaints committee. Now, when I say this constitution of ICC, every employer at every workplace should constitute a committee. That is called as internal complaints committee. This committee should have members which should be nominated by the employers, and it is one presiding officer who shall be a woman employed at a senior level at workplace amongst the employees, two internal members, at least two members amongst employees, preferably committed to the cause of women or who have experience in social work and have legal knowledge. Lastly, one member, and he should be external member, an NGO or associations committed for the cause of women.
ऊपर बैठो, नीचे बैठ के चाय पीने का कुछ ये नहीं है, ऊपर बैठो, चाय पियोगे ना, ऊपर बैठो.
This members, their tenure is for 3 years, and half of them should be women. That is what is very clear, so as to help the victims to cite their cases very properly. Further, the fees should be paid according to the allowances should be paid to these members according to the companies and employers' policies which they have been formulated. And of course, any person whoever contravenes these provisions of this ICC, that person, against him disciplinary action should be taken, and any vacancy if in the committee if left, then it should be filled by fresh nomination. Now, when I say about formulation of internal POSH policy, every employer of the workplace is responsible and has to make the policies for the protection of women from sexual harassment at workplace. And he should make the policies with objectives, function, duties of ICC, composition, contact details of ICC members, etc., redressal mechanism, conciliation opportunity. Now remember, this conciliation opportunity is given to the victim, that if they want to settle this particular matter by concealing by talking about settling up with talks, then they can settle it, and once this settlement has been done through talks, then the report is to be submitted to the employer, or for that matter it is to be submitted to the district officer, as the case may be. And if the matter settles, it's fine. Not the committee should carry forward the investigation, and of course they should come down to conclusions after the investigation. Then further, there is an inquiry procedure. If the matter is not settled through conciliation, the inquiry procedure has to take place, and then the reports have to be submitted. Next point of compliance is organizing workshops, awareness programs, and orientation programs. Every employer is under the obligation to organize these workshops to make aware all the employees about the ICC, that is the particular internal complaints committee which has been set up, about the members, about all these particular policies of the company. Not only this, they should organize this particular orientation programs for you can say the members of this particular ICC, and they should display at conspicuous places of workplace that what would be the consequences of sexual harassment and other particular acts if done wrongly within the particular premises and at workplaces. And finally, submission of the reports should be done by the ICC to either the employer or to the district officer, as the case may be. And of course, every employer of every company is under the obligation to prepare annual reports of whatever sexual harassments they take place or they don't take place But now, after POSH coming up, it is the duty of the company employers to annually make the reports and submit it accordingly. So now the important part to be discussed is the penalty. The penalty for non-compliance with POSH and how it can cost the employers. It can cost them monetary penalty of 50,000 rupees, and they can be subjected to this particular punishment if they fail to constitute this particular committee firstly. Then they fail to not act upon the recommendations of this particular committee. Then they fail to file an annual report with the district officer, which is so required condition of POSH. And of course, they have contravened or they attempt to contravene or abet the contravention of the rules which are mentioned under the Act. And of course, where an employer, he repeats the breach again and again after being warned also, he does not commit, he does not constitute the committee, or he does not do the acts which have been told to him, then he might be punished twice the punishment or any other highest punishment which has been so prescribed by the law, and it may lead to cancellation, withdrawal, non-renewal renewal of registration or license of his business or activities which is so carrying on. Further, there are exemplary damages also to be awarded and are awarded. In recent, after the POSH coming up in 2016, the Madras High Court directed Chennai-based ISG Nova Soft Technologies Limited to pay 1.68 crore as damages on account of sexual harassment to the aggrieved woman. Further to this, it is also seen that disclosure of compliances is mandatory. The Ministry of Corporate Affairs has amended the Companies Rules Act, the Companies Rules 2014, to mandate the disclosure regarding the implementation of sexual harassment of women at workplace POSH laws in director's report. And it is mandatory for the directors to make this particular report, and of course they have to give the provisions of their particular constitution of ICC under POSH laws, and if they fail to do so, then it will be total failure on their part and their licenses will be cancelled. So with this limited time given to me and limited understandings, I have tried to tell you that how the journey has tried to begin, and how in Indian legal system we started from our constitutional provisions, and Vishakha's case was a turning point from 1997 and till date. 2013 was the turning point for POSH laws, that is the prevention of sexual harassment laws to be implemented in this country. And so lastly, I would always, because you all are entrepreneurs and would be the entrepreneurs and employees, I would say that you please build your business success around something that you love, something that is inherently and endlessly interesting to you. Please follow the words of Martha Stewart, a businesswoman, a writer, and television personality. And I thank the organizations and of course all the respected dignitaries to giving me these opportunities. And I thank you all for giving your patience listening to me. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Ujjwala.
Thank you, ma'am.
And thank you for seeking our attention to our judicial system and briefly talking about laws for women, especially about POS law. I believe it's a fruitful talk of this session. So once again, thanks from the core of my heart. And may I know that our Honorable Professor Renu Jain, Vice Chancellor, Devi Ahilya University, has she joined? Renu Jain ma'am, she has joined. Devender sir or Brijesh sir, anyone can tell me she has joined or not, or Sampatia ma'am? I think both of them are not in our session now.
प्लीज कंक्लूड मैम.
Okay,
VC मैम और संपत्ति मैम tomorrow जुड़ने वाले हो.
Okay, okay. Thank you, thank you. So thanks to our all eminent guests for participating in this session and having their valuable words, ideas, and information for women entrepreneurship development. I thank you once again, and I conclude the session with these words. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, everyone. Maybe exit Bridges, sir? May we conclude Bridges, sir?
Please conclude session.
Yeah, I have already concluded the session. So thank you for coming,
Okay, ma'am.
joining this session. We will be live in another session. I think it will start from 2:30 onward. So thank you once again.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Maybe are we going to continue the next session, Bridges ji? This inaugural session is over. So now the panel discussion, yeah, this inaugural session is over. So now the panel discussion.
डॉक्टर आभा मैम, डॉक्टर आभा शुक्ला मैडम है क्या?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Welcome,
Yes,
Dr.
please
Abha,
start,
ma'am.
ma'am. Next session.
Please continue the panel discussion session. Abha, ma'am, please continue
Yes,
the
sir.
panel discussion session.
Yes, madam.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome.
Sir, I am visible. Sir, I am visible
Yes,
and
please start,
audible.
ma'am.
You are audible but not visible. Abha,
My
ma'am?
video is on. My
Yeah.
video is on, ma'am.
Okay, there may be some network problem.
Okay.
Yeah, now you are visible.
Yes, madam. Good afternoon, everyone. I, Dr. Abha Shukla, feel great honor and privilege to welcome all dignitaries, guests, and delegates with great joy on 6th International Research Conference on Women Entrepreneurship Development. As we all know, women entrepreneurs around the globe have very significant impact on the economic development. It is an essential part of women resource development. But the development of women entrepreneurship is very low in the world. While entrepreneurship among women no doubt improves the wealth of the nation. So it is very significant topic of the discussion. So let's start our panel discussion with Dr. Encleda Lulaj, Hexai University, State of Kosovo, Europe. Madam, please. Madam Encleda Lulaj. Ma'am. Encleda Lulaj, ma'am.
Ma'am left है. Please next Vedrana ma'am. Click next one Vedrana.
Yes. Now I would like to call Vedrana madam. Madam Vedrana.
Hello everyone. As I visible, yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so sorry. I am Vedrana Šarec from Croatia, and today, so sorry. I would like to say why it is important to empower young people. Like example of good practice in my school, and I can say why is important to teach and empower students to entrepreneurship. In Croatia, we have a training company, which is virtual company of a group of students that help them create and develop entrepreneurial competencies based on principles taken from the business of real companies. This training company does business in the virtual market with other training companies. The training company course contains elements of gamification and students operate in virtual markets without real entrepreneurial risk. They are free to make a decision without fear or failure. In this way, students accumulate the knowledge based on their own positive or negative experiences. In the trainee model, students take on a variety of roles within their own virtual enterprise. Head of sales, marketing, and procurement must bring decision related to their current function. The first step for students is to choose an idea of that what they want to produce or what service they want to provide, and the methods for finding ideas are different: brainstorming and brainwriting. After selecting the idea, we come to the establishment of a training company. A limited liability company is established by an article of association if it is more than one natural of legal person or a statement of establishment, it is one person. Students create the organizational structure of the training company by departments: management, administration, finance, accounting, production, and sales and marketing. After the distribution by departments, we come to the part related to employment. It is necessary to determine the plan and job description, make a competition for the required jobs, write applications, CV, interview, and finally select candidates. Students play right and business communication, do SWOT analysis, determine vision and mission and trademark and goals. They create a business plan as a business document. They make promotional materials such as greeting cards, business cards, flyer, catalog, brochure, poster, calendar, invitation, prize game, promotional film, balance sheet, calculation, and posting of procurement, sales, and production salaries, and so on. Now I would like to share my screen to show how to. Is it visible? I think that it is. This is work of my students about one day product that is a bracelet. We can see here. This is the letter of glagolitic. This is Ž on Croatia. And also my students create this card. We can see here glagolitic letter and glagolitic letter, also QR code on Instagram, QR code on Facebook, and our address. Also, we can see here letter Ž on glagolitic. This is a Croatia letter, not in English. This letter is made in AutoCAD, and my students, we can see here two girls and one boy. I can say that that is important to empower these young people like this for entrepreneurship, especially young girls like this. And my students are happy because now we are going to make all the glagolitic letter, and we will sell this bracelet at a price 4 to 5 euro. And I consider that it is extremely important to teach students entrepreneurship. Thank you so much for listening me, and thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you, madam, for your very informative and knowledgeable speech. Now, I would like to call Rahimunisha Begum, advocate and academician, co-convener, Andhra Pradesh, Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao, and standing committee member, All India Women's Conference, New Delhi. Madam, Rahimunisha Begum. Ma'am?
Madam, Dr. Inky leader join me.
Okay, sir.
Hi,
Yes, sir.
can you hear me, please?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I would like to call Dr. Encleda Lulas, Haksai JK University, State of Kosovo, Europe. Madam, please. Ma'am Lulas.
Yeah. Just a moment. Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Good morning. In my state is morning. I am Professor Enkelida Lulay from Kosovo, state of the Kosovo. I work at the University Hajizeka Faculty of Management in Tourism, Hospitality and Environment. I am Professor for Finance and Accounting. Thank you so much for inviting me. Really, I'm very honored and very grateful to be here. Now I will share my screen. Can you see my screen, please?
No, ma'am. Yes.
Can you see?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Thank you so much once again. I'm very, very honored to be here. So today I will speak about women empowerment and financial education, because as I am a professor for finance and accounting. Now, in this slide, you will see introduction, general information for women empowerment and financial education. Why financial education for women? Financial challenges specific to women. Are students' loans a woman issues? Top financial missteps women take. Financial education strategies for women. What can women do collectively? And a new point of view about women financial education literacy, the change basic attitude, learn a special skill about this presentation. So, women, home, work, and social. Now, why financial education for women? Women have made the remarkable strides over time to become the most powerful consumers and gain social and professional position. However, they still experience too many demands on their time and money. They are constantly juggling priorities at home and at work, all while maintaining social lives. They shape the future of the nation, but many pay little attention to combating their personal financial challenges through life and into retirement. So in this figure, you will see how is your current financial health in your family, in your life as well. Are you investing enough to achieve all your financial goals as a woman? Do you do prudent tax planning? Yes or no? Is your family's future secure in case some things happen to you? What happened to you as a woman? Do you rebalance your portfolio with the changing market scenario, or is your portfolio well disarranged? So please keep in mind this question for financial woman is very, very important for your success as a financial manager, or as a financial stability for you and your family as well. What next? So in this slide, you will see financial challenges specific to women. So women still carry more responsibility than men toward taking care of their children, home, or elderly parents. However, society has made a tremendous improvement in engaging both sexes in raising a family. It does not mean that men are not involved, but data from various social research institutions have shown this phenomenon. This phenomenon aligns with certain challenges that women often confront. So, practice about as a successful woman. Now that you know some of the financial challenges that women face, think of paying it forward and discuss your findings with a friend or a family member. Please keep in mind, it's very important for you. Women earn less over a lifetime. Second, women spend approximately 13 years out of work, mostly raising the children and taking care of family matters. This spending leads women to accumulate fewer assets over a lifetime. Or women like between 5 until 7 years longer than men, or due to a lower income, women end up with little, if any, nest egg. So what next? Are students' loans a woman's issue? Yes or no? For this slide about this question, you will learn now. So over several decades, the ratio of women studying in college has increased significantly. How to? Example, limit total outstanding debt to 20% of total yearly net income, or monthly payment on debt should be capped at 10% of monthly net income. So over several, while it is a good that women have been getting more educational opportunities, this surge of female college graduates come with a hefty price tag in students' loans. In addition to the cost of education, debt-to-income ratio is the more serious challenges once women enter retirement plans. It is estimated that women spend between 8 until 20% of their yearly net income on students' loan repayment. The idea of superwoman is unfair. What next? Top financial missteps women take. Life is full of choices we make every day, but sometimes we might take a misstep that directly or indirectly alters our destiny and and our future financial plans. How to? We all make some decision without seriously considering the negative reoccupation we may receive of things do not go as planned. There are some common missteps that women take regarding their financial life, and they are as follows. Example, let partner manage money without your involvement, or ignore women's longevity, or care children and parents by yourself, or fail to identify debts in divorce, or fail to protect future asset wills or benefits, or accept data without proper verification. Do not enter, please. Now, financial education strategy for women. Please keep in mind, it's very important for women. There are many strategies to help women financial and guide them to financial security and freedom. How is the best practice about financial education strategy for women? So financial education about money management, investing, and protecting are not always offered at school or available at home. They are left for each person to experience. This information is stumbled upon in many cases, but a woman learn a valuable life lesson through the process while desiring a safe financial passage. So here is a list of options to choose from or complete depending on where you are in your financial cycle. Example, set financial goals and keep them in track, or eliminate debt, or adopt an emergency fund, or establish a saving method for each goal, or keep insured and be healthy, or establish a personal retirement account, or keep all documents up to date. So please keep in mind, because are very important. Now what next? So in this slide you will see more about what can women do collectively. Some financial issues should be addressed individually by women, but sometimes their collective power can help. Consider collectively voicing concerns and work on finding solution for a better life for all women. So how to? It is critical for every woman to advocate on behalf of the all women by discussing issues and topics related to women's lives and happiness as well. Here is a list of topics, that women and could collectively champions. Example, to receive the pay they deserve for equal work opportunities and condition, or to have access to higher paying jobs without having to sacrifice raising a family, or to receive adequate and affordable child and elderly care and remain in the workforce. Or it's very important as well to have access to quality flexible work schedules and paid family leave, or to receive support through expanded tax credits to meet the cost of raising a family, to receive affordable and quality health insurance as they exist the work. So practice. Now you know that women can do collectively to advocate for their financial security, freedom, and happiness. Think of paying it forward and discuss your experiences with a friend or a family member. In this slide, you will see my case study. In this case study are include a woman around in three groups. My state, Kosovo state, cluster 1, cluster 2 is Western Balkan countries, example Albanian, Macedonia, Serbian, etc. And number 3 or cluster 1, number 3 is the woman from Europe. Example, Italy, Germany, Belgium, etc. Financial education or literacy. Why budget education is important for women or not? Households need for budget education or not? Need for a good financial as a woman or not? Countries, Kosovo, Western Balkan countries, and Europe, young countries, as I told before. Identify variables. What identify features does each group have? Plus, think about if if they are identified by budget education. In this case are included 14 variables. Results, about results. Example, which group has the best budget education? Cluster analysis and MDS analysis. So in this table, you will see 14 variables about 3 groups: Western Balkan countries, European Union countries, and Kosovo. Example, age, profession, incomes, sufficient information to make financial budget discussion, awareness of the importance of financial assurance or proper planning for the budgetary financial future, or another variable, saving money as an assistance after retirement, creating an emergency fund to overcome crisis, or meeting budgetary financial needs for 1 to 12 months in a case of loss of work or ability to work for a while, or another variables, or item number 10, registration of all transaction for budget incomes, registration of all transaction for budget expenses. Item number 12, saving and investing is important for a better well-being, the need for a financial advisor, and in the end, budget practice and control. Now in this slide, you will see the results about all variables for 3 groups: women in Kosovo, women in Western Balkan countries, and women in Europe. So the question number 1, those emphasize. So the number 1 is a woman of 3 clusters, cluster 1, cluster 2, and cluster 3. So those emphasize that all 3 countries need to raise awareness of budget management, but at the same time, women can be good budget managers in the case of budget awareness. Results about question number 2, Western Balkan countries and Kosovo emphasize that age is important for budget management, while European Union countries emphasize that age it is not important, but the budget awareness of the age group. The results about question number 3 to the item number 3. The greatest response gave Kosovo, which says the profession is important for increasing knowledge about financial management. Then is Western Balkan countries, and in the end, European Union countries gives low rating that emphasize that the profession does not have an important role if people have better or weak knowledge and management. This depends on their interest in how much they want to be educated about budget management, about financial position for their families. The results about question number 4, all 3 observations, Kosovo, Western Balkan countries, and European Union countries have the same opinion that education and management help to realize and save incomes. It means that welfare or well-being and financial stability do not depend on the amount of income, but on education and budget management. Question 5, the results are about the question number 5. The highest value is in European Union countries, while Kosovo and Western Balkan countries has less information about making financial decision. 6, higher value for the importance of financial assurance has European Union countries than Kosovo, and in the end is Western Balkan countries. The results about the question number 7, better planning for the financial future, they do European Union countries and Kosovo, but even Western Balkan countries is not too far from the first 2 observations. 8, regarding saving as assistance after retirement, the highest value have the countries of Kosovo than European Union countries. ninth, the results about the question number 9 is the emergency funds is extreme case are more like it from European Union countries than Kosovo and in the end is Western Balkan countries. The results about 10 and 11 questions for the registration of all transaction for income and expenses. Western Balkan countries has the lowest average after Western Balkan countries is Kosovo, and the highest average has European Union countries. About results for the questions 12 and 13, to the item 12, more interest have the European Union countries and Kosovo, but also Western Balkan countries. It is not too far from them in the interest of saving and investment. Item number 13, the need for a financial advisor in the three groups, Kosovo, European Union countries, and Western Balkan countries, has the same average. So, in the end, the results about the question number 14, practice and smaller budgetary financial control has Western Balkan countries, and the higher value has European Union countries. Recommendation about this topic, about empowerment women and financial education. What should women do in the future? Women of three countries, women of three observation or groups need to increase budget awareness. They need a financial advisor during the budget cycle. So improvement, foresight, and future thinking. Thank you so much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. Thank you so much for your attention and your passion.
Thank you so much, Madam. Madam Lulaj, you truly said financial education for women is very important, and there are so many financial challenges specific to women. But women can do fight collectively for their rights. Madam, you have very nicely present your case study also. Thank you so much, Madam. Now, I would like to call Rahimanisha Begum. Madam.
For a good research article. So these.
Now I would again like to call Madam Rahimunesha Begum, advocate and academician, co-convener, Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Rahimunisa. I hope my voice is laudable to you.
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yeah. So I congratulate the galaxy of intellectuals for being a part of this wonderful program, which has been scheduled online due to various reasons, I guess. With the permission of the organizers, I just want to bring to the notice of the attendees today's topic which has been allotted. I will, with the permission of the proceeding officer, I will share screen where we have certain slides of presentation for your kind understanding and attention. So, may I request?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Yeah, I'm doing. Is it visible, Andy?
Yes, madam.
Okay. So the topic today allotted to me is like women entrepreneurship legal safeguards. So women across the world are nowhere less when it comes to innovation, business, knowledge, tolerance, assertiveness, and leadership. So the environment is, multiple diversified environment. It is ecological, political, fashionable, legal, climate, ecological, technological, and social as well. And today's buzzword is startups. We need to think about what's up, what's new, and what's a startup. So first thing first is to step ahead. We need to get away from there. And then we need to follow the legal compliance. The process begins when you are having an assurance of initiating something called your own company, your own sole tradership, maybe you are into partnership, you are into business deal, or maybe you have started an initiative called as a franchise, or maybe you are connected to a commission, or maybe you are endorsing a statement or an exchange itself, then you need to understand that the process begins once you start the legal formalities as such. So the legal formalities required for running an enterprise becomes a very important task, where the correct practices have to be given up, and you should be shrewd enough to think about various issues regards as licenses, electricity, water, shed allotments. In several situations, entrepreneurs find it very tough initially to enter into an agreement. Agreement here is not a social agreement, it has to be a legal agreement. Principle wise, law wise, terms wise, it is a binding in capacity. It enters into a contractual obligation. So now, if you enter into a contract, an agreement between the parties, or between institutions, or between like minded people, or with the suppliers, or with the raw material people, or maybe expecting goods and services, what you need to understand is you have to have four principles of, you know, authentic organizational levels. You need to have a land, you need to have labor, you need to have capital, also you need to have an organization. For that, you cannot miss, you cannot afford to miss certain obligations which are legal in nature, which means both of you are binded in an agreement. You are straight away entering into a legal relationship. Once you have entered into a legal relationship in a contractual obligation, what happens is you are entitled for certain rights and certain duties. Your responsibility starts, your transparency starts, your accountability starts. You need to enter into a contract with thorough vision and investigation and thorough understanding of the contract. Once you enter into a contract, it's always better to be wise before the event, not after the event. As a legal personality, I would like to say that we need to be wise before the event, not after the event. I request the other participant to mute their mic. Yeah. So the contract here is you need to see with a lens view, with a very minute macro level, what is the stipulated ingredients of the contract, sentence by sentence, word by word, letter by letter, so that you need to be doubly cautious. You need to be doubly careful. You need to be extra cautious. You need to be extra aware of what is there in the contract. Something told is different. Something written is always different. Something told, something exchanged, word of mouth is different. Whereas once you enter into a contract, a paper obligation, something in black and white, you need to be more precarious, more permits. Once you have the documentation work done, you need to get lot of permits from various agencies. First such permit is compulsory registration. Registration has to be compulsory when you are looking for a, a durable position, when you are looking forward consequences for months to come, years to go, decades to go, maybe centuries to go. You need to plan things ahead. For that, you need to have legal permits. So a few sections of the Indian Companies Act will play here. But the thing is, since this is an international scenario, I just don't want to go only with the Indian Companies Act, but also like to mention that since this is an international conference about entrepreneurship, it all depends upon your geographical rules and regulations, international rules and regulations which you need to follow. So any company would have its own trademark, its own logo, its own patent and registration card, an official authentic presentation from the authority in terms of registration, or a seal, or a document, or a logo, or a permit by the government. Authentic sources is very, very important. Thereafter, what happens is, this is small scale industry flow. All are not so financially equipped to have their own big companies, right? May not be multinational companies and so on and so forth. But then you can start with small scale industry. Either it could be a sole tradership, it could be a partnership, it could be a joint stock company, it could be like a cooperative limited, or maybe a dairy product, or maybe something to start with, uh, online business called as e-commerce initiatives. Nowadays, due to COVID-19 also, in fact, this global pandemic has brought all of us together. There is lot much happening in terms of, online activities. So this online activity, online business, online counseling, online services, online goods and services flow chart is much more viable, and this liberalized, privatized, globalized economy from India and Asian countries has opened the doors open for the international community to get into. Once we say this, we mean that we need to know the law, the policies, the compliance, the compliance system, regulatory analysis, the governance part, standards and rules in toto. Why? Because once you know the law of the land, you can definitely be more safe, more vigilant, more cautious, and more doing so with the ease of doing business with the concerned ministries of law, concerned ministry of finance, concerned ministry of commerce, concerned ministry of, for example, women and child development. Why women and child? Because you will get lot of financial advisory as well as, a kind of a strengthening support from the concerned ministry. And ministry of finance will give you the gateways of how to procure money, where to get security based, a kind of financial support, financial aid, financial supporting hand. So once you are intended towards success, what is that best you can do is business feasibility analysis, eligibility criteria you have to look into, business ideas and plans you have to look into, circulate the business plan, whether your idea is thinkable, workable. Sometimes you need to think from out of the box. Sometimes you need to think about uh, you know where to go. I just stop the screen, and I want to give a kind of a deliberate extempore talk. Since this is a global platform, a few lines I have mentioned is all about Indian contract, Indian agreement, and Indian way of thinking. Now that we are in the global scenario, global laws also will come into picture. As far as business environment is concerned, business law is concerned, commercial laws are concerned, you also have intellectual property rights. Why this intellectual property rights is, since you have your inventions, your discoveries, your creativity on guard, where you can come out with an idea. It could be either in terms of service, in terms of a good, in terms of a creativity, in terms of an equipment, or maybe something to do with COVID-19 teamwork, where you can literally see that this devil goes away, maybe in terms of medicine, or maybe a virus area, vaccination, for example, a vaccine, or maybe a method to fight with, or maybe a methodology to combat this COVID-19. All these things play a very vital role. Since in this context, new things have crept. One way we have this global pandemic, other way, how to take forward education, how to take forward counseling, how to take forward supplies, how to take forward logistics, how to do away with marketing. Suppose there is lockdown, how to go online, shopping, online transactions, who will be giving us the goods and services. All these have become very pertinent questions, significant questions, where I have seen in my own country, in my own city, where hundreds of young budding entrepreneurs have come into foreplay. So one way we are in a very pathetic situation where globally this is a challenge for us. Many people have died and many people are suffering. There has been a lot of chaos, but at the same time, this has paved way for new inventions, new discoveries, new ideas, generating new thoughts. New policies are coming up, new academic collaborations are coming up. For example, now myself from Vishakhapatnam, from Andhra Pradesh, getting connected to you all. They are all international personalities getting connected to us. This is very much possible because of online education, online international conference. I strongly agree and admit that most of the academicians, we used to struggle a lot to conduct a international conference. It used to take 6 months preparation time, bringing in the guests, carrying them, logistics, food, shelter. whatnot, guest houses, etc. Nowadays, just 2 days enough to initiate a well-designed program, of course, with hands-on experience. Here also, women entrepreneurs, when they want to come out of their comfort zones and then start a business, now things are online. Google search is the better search for products, for services, for permits, for legalities, formalities, whatnot, everything. So ready-made things are very much available to you. Just like we say 2 minutes Maggie, 2 minutes documentation work also is available. Services are available. But only word of caution from myself, being an advocate, that too from a lady's point of view, from a women point of view, be wise before the event, not after the event. And secondly, better follow all the legal procedures, whether it's an Indian law, Asian law, or maybe European countries, maybe some other international platform. If you follow the law will definitely safeguard you. So I just stop here. If there are any questions, any queries, we will take forward. Otherwise, I thank the organizer for giving me this wonderful opportunity to be a part of this international scenario. I will leave my contact number and details. The organizers are having any kind of information you want in furtherance of this. We can have a 1 hour, 2 hour session in detail for the Indian participants, and we can have a collaborative, comparative sessions with our European friends as such. Thank you so very much. Have a nice day. Stay safe, stay healthy. Thank you.
Thank you so much, madam. Thank you, madam. As madam is advocate and academician, so very nicely explained legal formalities of women empowerment. Now it's time to conclude our today's session. As Madam Lulaj and Vedran and Madam Rahimnisha said, there are many problems faced by women entrepreneurship, like problem of finance. Finance is regarded as live bird for any enterprises. However, women entrepreneurs suffers from shortage of finance because women do not generally have properly and property on their own names. Secondly, the bank also consider women less credit worthy and discourage women borrowers. There is steep competition also faced by women. Apart from the challenges, unlike man, women mobility in India is highly limited due to various reasons. A single woman asking from room is still looked upon suspicious. In India, it is mainly a woman's duty to look after the children and the other member of the family. But still, research shows that women-owned companies generate higher revenues than those owned by men. It also showed that women are more effective as a leader and better at creating job. So lastly, I would like to say, औरत मोहताज नहीं किसी गुलाब की, औरत मोहताज नहीं किसी गुलाब की, वो खुद बागबान है, वो खुद बागबान है इस कायनात की. इन पंक्तियों के साथ मैं ऑर्गेनाइजिंग कमेटी से कार्यक्रम समापन की अनुमति चाहती हूं. और कल जो है इंटरनेशनल कॉन्फ्रेंस, कल जो है सेकेंड सेशन 12 AM से स्टार्ट होगा. थैंक यू सो मच. थैंक यू ऑल पार्टिसिपेंट्स, ऑल डिग्निटरीज. May I conclude program, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you. Thank you all.
Candidate online attendance form. Message box.
Okay.
सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है, मैसेज बॉक्स में हमने अटेंडेंस एक शीट भेजी है, तो उसको फिल कर दें आप सब लोग. उसी के बेस पे हम सर्टिफिकेट्स वगैरह आप सबको प्रोवाइड करेंगे.
ओके,
मैसेज बॉक्स में है. थैंक यू एंड थैंक यू वेरी मच. आप सब ने बहुत अच्छा सहयोग किया, बहुत ही अच्छा हमारी चर्चा हुई, और नेक्स्ट डे हम फिर मिलते हैं. वंस अगेन थैंक यू टू ऑल. थैंक यू वेरी मच. और सभी से रिक्वेस्ट है कि मैसेज बॉक्स में जाके अपनी डिटेल प्लीज उसमें फीड कर दें.